First at 6, an update on our Arizona's family investigation into Bitcoin ATMs. We have hundreds now in Arizona which are not being regulated.
And more scammers are using them to get your money. Tonight, there's a new push at the state capitol to change that. Amy Cutler is here. So how exactly would this work?
Well, it would really make a difference here. It would put safeguards in place, including a daily limit of how much money you can put into one of these Bitcoin ATMs and require these operators to let you know the fees they're charging you.
He saw what I had in the account. He took it all.
We first introduced you to Tamra Glarum earlier this month. The Peoria retiree lost $28,000 to scammers. Most of it was cash she put into a Bitcoin ATM.
It was all that I had because I'm on Social Security. That was my savings and my IRA.
Unfortunately, Tamra isn't alone. Law enforcement agencies across the state say they're dealing with a surge of these cases.
Why do you think scammers are using these Bitcoin ATMs?
It's a way to circumvent the traditional banking sector and all of the protocols around that.
John Griffin, a finance professor at the University of Texas at Austin, studies cryptocurrency.
Scammers are using these to steal funds. And so I do think it's an epidemic.
That's why AARP Arizona has worked with police, state lawmakers, and Bitcoin ATM operators, pushing for a bill that would regulate these machines. It's called House Bill 2387.
It's more about the individuals who use them and people who are using them because they're being scammed.
The bill would require operators to disclose fees, some of which are upwards of 20%. The consumer would then need to acknowledge them. They'd also have to provide receipts, both paper and digital. And finally, one of these ATMs couldn't accept more than $2,000 a day.
We can't always prevent fraud from happening, but we can certainly limit the damage.
Something that could have helped Tamra.
Well, it will never happen again because I will be wiser this time, but unfortunately it took all my money.
Now, AARP does acknowledge scammers could direct someone to another Bitcoin ATM, but this cap creates a barrier, giving a person time to consider what they're doing and stopping them from losing, ultimately, more money.
And it hasn't gone to the full House. Any idea if it has enough to pass there?
Yeah, that's a good question, and we put that question to AARP. They tell us that they're expecting an amendment to come into play tomorrow. It would put a daily cap on things. That has been a bump in the road. When it was first introduced, it was set at $1,000. Now it's $2,000, and a future amendment could raise that even higher. AARP points out that they've had meetings with stakeholders, including Bitcoin ATM operators, and they expect that amendment will address some of their concerns. They tell me they are cautiously optimistic that this will go before the full House later this week and ultimately to the Senate next week.
Quite a few people have lost money and a lot of money as well. So we'll keep tracking it, the progress down at the Capitol. Amy, thank you for that update.